and gentlemen, and welcome to our discussion of Game of Thrones, Season 6, Episode 2, Home. So, lots happened this season so far. We missed the first episode trying to get a video done, but this second episode, still chock full of things. A couple of things happened that a lot of people could kind of anticipate, I guess you'd say. So, fair warning, there will be spoilers. So make sure that you, if you haven't watched it, are not watching this. Now, big news. Jon Snow wakes up at the end. He was dead. He's alive again. Yay! I think anybody really saw that coming, though, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones and kind of know story arcs. Especially if you're listening to fan theories about Game of Thrones. And the one that seems the most reasonable, I guess the word would be that Jon Snow is actually a Targaryen, and therefore he's going to be the bringer of light and bringer of balance, and basically the only one who'll be able to stand up to the White Walkers and whatnot. Which sounds pretty valid, and you can't kill off someone that important in such a way, especially after you build them up to be this leader and this person who's going to bring justice to the area of Westeros. So that's a big thing at the end, and Sir Davos, of course, still an amazing character, still one of my favorites. Gets some of the greatest lines of the episode, while both serious and humorous. So I thought the actor playing Sir Davos is doing an amazing job, and I'm hoping he sticks around longer and doesn't die off like some of the other interesting and fun characters. So, shake up in the Bolton household as well, with Ramsay taking control and becoming Lord Bolton. While that one wasn't quite as telegraphed as some of the other things happening in the series, the minute they shot that scene and as they show him going in for the hug, you see the dagger stuck in the back of his belt. I had a sneaking suspicion that the end was nigh for the elder Bolton. Also, we got to see the Greyjoys again. The Greyjoys having a little shake-up of their own, having their own little Game of Thrones over on their islands. So I'm curious to see how that's going to incorporate in. We've got Theon going back to join them rather than journeying with Sansa. So we're going to have to see how Theon's return is going to shake up this whole murder most foul on the islands. Also, you've got Tyrion freeing the dragons, which is actually a really smart move, because if anyone's going to be able to save Dany, as much as I love Jorah and the mercenary guy who's with him, who for some reason the name is escaping me right now, I should have looked it up, but as much as I love those two characters and feel they could fight their way into or out of any situation they find themselves in, I feel like the dragons are going to help a lot. Seeing as Dany wasn't actually in the episode, Khaleesi is on her way to the place where all the widowed wives of cows end up. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly she gets back to her people, and then how she helps her people retake all the areas that have been overthrown by the Masters, as well as just deal with some of those plot points about the sons of the Harpy, and see how they overcome those obstacles, especially now that you've got Tyrion's brains, you've got Jorah's steel, you've got Viserys, who's got enough sources everywhere to really get whatever information they need. So it'll just be interesting to see how that works out and all plays out in the next few episodes. And then Arya is back on her way to becoming no one, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. She's still blind, but I feel like the blindness is actually part of everyone's training, seeing as that's a useful skill. She's going to become the Daredevil of Davos, or not Davos, Daredevil of Braavos, seeing as she's not going to have sight, but she's going to learn how to do everything from sound. So that'll be a fun storyline to follow up, if not a little bit creepy. So right now we've got so many things started up, and every episode's devoting 10-15 minutes to things. We still have to see the Mountain come in and just bash some heads. We got to see him bash one guy's head. I mean, there were a lot of heads being bashed in last night. Let's be honest. You got just heads being smashed against walls, blood splattering everywhere. It was a jolly good time. But seeing the Mountain take on some of the like the High Sparrow's men, or basically whatever men try and get to Cersei. Plus seeing what happens to Jaime after he just admitted some of his sins to the High Sparrow without any sign of remorse. It's not exactly a good thing to be discussing your past crimes with the church militant, if you will, seeing as they'll just throw you in jail and throw away the key until you repent. And even then, like, Marjorie wasn't in this episode. She's still down in the dungeon, so you didn't see anything of the Sand Snakes. So there was there's so many storylines right now that it's going to be interesting to see how well the directors and the writers kind of weave them all together to form this nicely knit story arc for the season. Because again, I believe they're only holding to about 10 episodes, which is a nice run. It gives you a nice mini-series. But we'll have to see how they all interconnect, and so we'll have to touch base with that after next week's episode and see how things are starting to go together. If there's anything you'd like me to discuss or you'd like to add your input, please leave a comment. I'm more than happy to address them in the next video. If you have any questions, if you want me to mention anything from the episode or try and go into more detail on any of the theories that might be out there, I'm more than happy to oblige. But give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to us if you want more, and please have a good one.